Okay, so now we have search term, which is going to be injected as props into landing, right? So now landing has the ability to read from its props, and it's going to be reading search term, which is a string, right? Because now we're back into flow land. And then what we're going to do here in the input is we're going to say value equals props.searchTerm. So just to prove to you this works, I'm just going to go into my reducers just super quick, change this to something, and save. And now if I go back to landing here, notice, whatever, ignore your console for the moment. Notice that something is inputted in there into the box, right? So that's being read from Redux. The problem that we have again is what happens if I try and type in it. Nothing happens because it's continuing to read from Redux and nothing is updating Redux, right? We wrote all that set search term stuff, but nowhere is it being invoked. So let's go close that loop and make it invoke. Okay, so we're going to go back to landing.jsx. And what we're going to do is we're going to make another one of these called const map dispatch to props. That's going to be equal to, or it's going to take in dispatch, which is going to be a function. And that is going to return an object as well. And this object is going to have a handle search term change, which is going to be a function that takes in an event. And then that event is going to dispatch the results of set search term with event.target.value. Okay, we need to go import our set search term function, so we're going to do that real quick. Import set search term from /action creators. And then last thing we need to do is we need to take this map dispatch to props and pass that in as the second parameter to connect. I did a lot there, so let's make sure that we recount what happened. Okay, I wrote this map dispatch to props, right? This is going to create methods that landing is going to be able to invoke to dispatch events to Redux. Okay, that's the whole point of map dispatch to props, is dispatching actions into Redux. It's going to take care of all of that for us. We're going to write methods that take care of that for us. Okay. So map dispatch to props. It's going to return an object, and everything on this object is going to be injected as props into landing. Okay? So I have this handle search term event, or handle search term change, right, which takes in an event. And based on that event, whatever the event.target.value is for that event, it's going to dispatch, or it's going to pass that into set search term, right? So if we go into, if you remember our action creators, we created this set search term action creator, right? Where you pass in a search term and it gives you a well-formatted action, right? Cool? So given a search term, which is coming from event.target.value, it's going to create a new action of type set search term and payload search term, right? So this just returns an action. There's nothing magical here. Or, I don't know, depends what you define magical as. So, go back to landing. That's what this does. This dispatch function is to say, here Redux, here's an action, right? It's just going to pass it into your, it's going to end up being in your root reducer. That's where that action is going to get routed eventually, okay?
The event target value is what they typed in.
Right. In fact, yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. So on change here is going to be props dot handle search term change. We also going to have to declare that in our prop types. Handle search term change is going to be a function. Right, so maybe that's a little bit more clear now. On change is going to call props.handle.search term change. This got injected from here, right? From this one that we wrote down here. Okay, and then this got injected into redux right here via the connect method, right? So all the connect method really is doing is it's taking stuff, these objects, and they're injecting them into your component so they can be used as props inside of your component. That's really all connect is. There's not really a lot more to it. It's just calling, it's like, I got this thing from the user. I'm going to call this function and inject these objects as props into this particular component. Okay, so that's what happens on the UI.